Welcome back to Foothills Firewood, guys. My name's Britt, and today we're going to bag up some pizza wood, and we're talking chainsaw chains. Let's get it. Alright, you guys, we're back in the wood yard, and today a little bit of a different video. I haven't had a lot going on this week. We've had a lot of rainy weather. I've been pretty busy at work, and so I have not had time to get out here and do a ton of work in the wood yard. So today what I'm going to do, I'm just bagging up some of this pizza oven wood that I have. It's anywhere from 8 to 12 inches split thin. I have a brick oven in the backyard that I use this for personally. Every once in a while I will sell it, but I do not process it solely to sell. I'll sell it if I get ahead. I'll throw an ad up, or some of the people already know that I sell this stuff, or that I have it, or that I use it myself, and they'll just ask me if I have some. So I'm just gonna bundle some of this up because I am ahead on my pizza oven wood, and it'll be what I will have extra to offer if anybody's interested. But what I'm going to be talking about on this video are chainsaw chains. And this is just going to be a bundle side chat here, I guess you should say. It's came to my attention that I was actually in, I'm trying to think if it was Brad's Thirsty Thursday or if it was Dan's Friday Night Live. I think it was Brad. Yeah, it was Brad's Thirsty Thursday this past Thursday, and somebody was asking about chainsaw chains. They were asking about skip chains, and quite a few people had questions about them, and a lot of people had said that they had never ran them before. So I just wanted to give my opinion, and again, everything in this video is going to be strictly opinion. It is the opinion of somebody who has ran both quite a bit, so take it or leave it. I'm sure I'll have people that agree with me, especially the people who have tried it and understand, and I'm also sure I'll have people that disagree. But in general, my rule of thumb, I run a couple saws. If I'm just out here limbing 8, 10, 12 inch wood, I'll run a little homeowner MS250. I've got an MS290 as well, an 028 Super, 40 to 50 cc saw, something that's not super heavy. I can sit here and trim with it all day long and not have any issues. If I get into the bigger wood, I use an MS440. That is my main saw for when I'm cutting a huge pile of wood that my tree guy brings. And that's the saw that I opt to run a longer bar on and run a skip tooth chain on. I run a 25-inch bar on my MS440 most of the time. Sometimes I'll just run a 20. If I'm just cutting firewood, I'll run a 20-inch bar, and then it really rips. But anytime I run a bar 25 inches or bigger, I run a skip chain. And the main reason for that is because if I'm running a bar 25 inches or bigger, I'm cutting big wood. If I'm not cutting big wood, I use a smaller saw. That's just how I roll. I'm not one of those people who are going to drag around a 14-pound power head all day long to cut 8-inch limb wood. I'm just not going to do it. That kind of stuff wears on your back, man. Leaning over on a saw all day long, not fun. So nevertheless, if I'm pulling out my 440 with a 25-inch bar, I'm doing so because I'm cutting 22, 24, 26, 32, 36, 40-inch wood. And I'm talking about burying the bar. I'm talking about cutting from one side all the way through and not getting all the way through, going to the other side and finishing my cut. When I get logs like that, I've got a stump over here I'll actually show you here in just a second. When I get logs like that, skip chain all the way. If you have not tried it, you are missing out. All I could urge you to do is just get one skip chain and save it for the right application. Your mind will be blown. Your mind will be changed. I'm certain of it. I cannot speak for a lot of softwood. I'm in North Carolina in the southeast here, where we have plentiful hardwood. I cut a lot of hickory, I cut a lot of oak. I do not have any, you know, I cut pine every now and again, but I'm not using my 440 or my skip chain for that. I do not have any data or anecdotal opinions on softwood. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest and you predominantly cut, you know, hemlock or pine or cypress or whatever you guys have out there, then double check with someone in your area that might know. But I think the principle of how a skip chain works will still ring true no matter what you're cutting. Now, the main reason I've done this, I've always been one of those guys, and there's a couple firewood guys that are like this. You may be like this. You get a fresh chain right out of the box and you want that thing to rip. So you take it fresh out of the box. Some people just run it fresh out of the box. Some people will throw it on the bench vise, and they'll take a flat file and just lightly give one pass to the rakers. That's me. I've always wanted a super aggressive chain. I buy the full comp yellow label chains from Steel, and even then I will buzz the raker down just a skosh before I start running it. And even with a 70 plus cc saw, when you get into big wood like that, you either have to be pretty light with it, or you just have to continually, you know, fight the saw. It wants to pull, it wants to bog, but that doesn't happen with a skip chain. So I put a 25-inch skip chain on my 440, and I walk up to a 30-inch log, and I think to myself, I'm gonna bury the nose of this bar. It's not gonna get all the way through it, so I need as little drag as possible. I put the skip chain on there, and it just melts. I mean, it just walks through the wood effortlessly. I make one pass on this side, I go to the other side, and I try to button up my cut. Like I said, if you haven't done it, you should try it. Some people will reserve skip chains for even larger bars. Like if you're running a 32 or 36-inch bar, I would definitely run a skip chain if it were me. That's just my personal preference. Now, if I'm just running the MS250 or the 290 and I got a 16-inch bar or an 18-inch bar or the 440 even with a 20-inch bar, all I have are full comp, full chisel chains for that. And again, there's nothing wrong with those. Right application for the right wood is what you're looking for. But I think the people, especially if you're doing firewood and you're getting tree service wood, I think the people that don't have any experience with a skip tooth chain are really missing out. I think that they would be very impressed at the way that it cuts. So what I'll do is I will show you guys a couple of chains that I have. I think they're all dull right now, the ones that I'm going to show you, but to give you an idea, if you don't even know what a skip chain is, or if you're just here thinking, what's this guy talking about, I will show you. I'll kind of act as if you've never cut wood before in your life, and the people who have cut wood, they'll know what I mean, and the people who haven't will hopefully understand what I'm saying by the end of this. But nevertheless, if you're gonna bury the bar, always bury it with a skip chain. It's less stress on your power head. It is the smoothest cut you can get. It is the answer, I promise. I'm gonna grab some more wood here. My wood yard is a mess right now, so I'm trying to get this all buttoned up. But I could not talk to you guys about this. You know, I know Brad over at Firewood at the Furnace cuts a ton of firewood, and even his response in the chat was that he's never really ran one, didn't have much experience with one, and so the amount of people that really just couldn't weigh in on the subject led me to believe I should make this video. So that's why we're here. As you can see, I bag wood out of a trash can. I know you guys are not unfamiliar with this. I think everybody probably starts this way. I've been doing this for a couple years because it's cheaper. You know, I bag a fair amount of wood. I try to sell bundle wood year round. But I know that there are many bagging stations out there, and I know a few of them are definitely worth it. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on that yet. And I enjoy being out here. This is kind of this is my therapy. This is not my, anybody that knows me knows this is not my day job. This is my fun job. So when I get some spare time, the kids are napping, or if we've got an easy day, or if I'm off work, this is kind of where I'm at. So yeah, I use the trash can, load it up, and I just kind of do it at my leisure. I keep all my I try to stay 30 or 40 bags ahead, and I keep them all in this 330 gallon IBC tote back here. So when the stand gets picked apart, I can load it back up. Guys, we might just have to reset. And this here is why those fancy bagging stations would save the day. But here we are. All right. And this trash can's about had it. This thing is, it's busted on two sides. So I'm hoping it'll get me through the winter here with the 2024 into 2025 season. And then I'll get another one, or I'll reevaluate then. But this is kind of where we're at now. I'll actually pan over to the, why don't we just walk over to the load of white oak that he brought me recently here. Got a trailer of cherry here I need to get stacked. I've got a bunch of tulip poplar or yellow poplar and some ash out here that I need to get cut up. Here's a prime example of a piece of oak. This oak must have been dying. Actually, a lot of the tree looks excellent, but you can see here on the stump, and this stump's probably 28 to 30 inches, maybe 32. I don't think I have a tape out here, but you can see where the first, like, I'd say probably 3 to 4 inches of sapwood was gone. And the sapwood is, you know, the cambium layer is what takes the nutrients up the tree. So this tree was on its way out for sure. Heartwood looks great. And it's interesting because it's like this on the bottom, and it's also kind of like that on the top, but the core of it all the way up looked great. So you can see this piece right here has some fungus growing. So you might not get a ton of firewood out of that. I try to keep, you know, the firewood that I sell as premium looking as possible. So with that said, we would give stuff like this to my buddy with the boiler. But if you come over here and look at it, it's still got a nice core, just some punky sapwood there. But yeah, if you're looking at the ends of these, all the way up looks great. Here looks good. That right there is probably 17, 18 inches. Same with this. That one's a little bigger. But yeah, excellent load of firewood here. And then randomly this piece over here at the top, I mean, that's all fungus right there. That'll just go straight to my buddy's boiler. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you do firewood, you absolutely either have to have a boiler or know someone with a boiler. Also, this is apple, and this stuff is beautiful. I'm gonna come around. It's been a little sun bleached on this side, but let me come around and show you this wood. Look at that stuff. Just absolutely beautiful. Very dark heartwood. All right, let's talk about these chains. All right, so down here on the bottom, you have a full comp, full chisel chain. You can always tell by looking at them. Of course, if you don't know what you're looking for, it is cutter, link, cutter, link, cutter, link, cutter. Over here you have the skip tooth chain, okay? You've got link, link, cutter, link, link, cutter, link, link, cutter. These are completely different, used for different applications. Outside of all the saws that I currently have that have sharp chains on them, this is kind of how I keep my chains. I don't know what you guys do, but when we moved in here, this is the back side of a finished basement here. So I just keep my chains and my bars here. I hung this rack and it had 2 posts on it, fortunate for me. And I thought, you know, sharp chains and dull chains. So it looks like I've got a couple of 25s that are ready to be put on. Other than that, you know, in my free time after I get the kids to bed, my wife's watching TV, I'll come down here, turn some of the dull chains into sharp chains, so they are ready to be used next. That's all we've got for today. I really would like to hear from you guys down in the comments. Anybody that watches this video, if you either learn something or if you have an opinion, by all means, drop it down in the comments. I would love to know, when do you run a skip tooth chain, or when do you run a full comp chain? Have you ever tried a skip tooth chain? Is it all you know is a full comp chain? Those are things that I'm curious to hear about, because guys, I cut a lot of wood. I definitely feel like I know my preferences, but I am always open to learn new things. So let me know what you guys do, how it works for you. And if you've never used a skip tooth chain before and you do get tree service wood, larger tree service wood, do yourself a favor and grab yourself at least one skip tooth chain and try to tell me I was wrong. I promise you, you guys will have your minds changed. Nevertheless, I really appreciate all the views, all the comments, all the likes, subscribes, shares. Everything means so much, guys. I really appreciate you watching this video, and until next time, we're out here having fun. Thanks for watching.